Davy's session has been 5 minutes, just to remind him. On the Future World Symposium. Please the director of the FPGA network, Future World Symposium, the NMI. The NMI is your champion for the UK electronic systems industry. Please the freelance consultant, Davy, NMI director for the FPGA network, in addition to developing NMI's Future World Symposium.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Pete Davy. Thank you for the introduction, Mike. Shalom to our Israeli guests. You're very welcome in England, so thank you for making the trip out here. I find myself in a rather unique situation now. For many years, I used to work with the NMI as one of its members, and now I'm standing on the other side of the fence, so I'm seeing the world from a slightly different position. What I'd like to ask, actually, before we get going is, could I have a quick show of hands if the company you represent is a member of the NMI? So I'm seeing probably about half the audience. So that's great. I'm pleased I'm amongst friends. Actually, I had a look at the registration list before I came, and I did some quick analysis, and about actually 2/3 of you are members of the NMI. So actually, some of you in the room may not actually realize that you are a member of the NMI, and that's the same for the people who are online as well. So what I hope to do in the next few minutes is just tell you a little bit about some of the activities that the NMI does. Hopefully it'll enlighten you. Hopefully you'll see some things, oh, I didn't know about that. Maybe we should get more involved, or maybe I'll tell one of my colleagues that that's what the NMI does and you may want to find out more. In essence, the NMI is a membership organization. We're an industry association for the electronic systems industry. At the heart is really people like yourselves. It's, they make up the organization. You are the members. And what we try to do for you is help your businesses grow. We help to give your businesses more influence in amongst the ecosystem and also up to government. And we also try and help to share knowledge amongst us all so we can all benefit from other people's experiences and use that knowledge to be more successful. I'm just looking at the animation. So it is actually involved in a lot of programs, a lot of initiatives. I don't have time to go into each and every one of them. If there's something you see up on this slide which you think, oh, I'd like to know more about it, please come and find me during the breaks and I'll happily share with you what I do know. I would like to talk about just 3 or 4 of those items. At the top there's that box called ESCO. That stands for an organization called the Electronics Systems Challenges and Opportunities. The NMI was a founding member of that several years ago, and a lot of very experienced people in the industry came together and they had a look at the industry. And one of the things they were able to show was that the contribution, the financial contribution of the electronic systems industry in the UK to the GDP represents about 5%. And they've actually got expectations that if we can address some of those challenges that they've discussed and address some of the opportunities, that could well grow to something like 7.5% of the GDP. That's a significant amount of contribution to the wealth of this country, and it's people like yourselves who have that can have that effect on it. And so there's more work that they're doing to make that work. How long? 2 minutes. I'll talk about the bottom box, IoT. It's been mentioned already by Fabian as a very growing area. What the NMI realized was they got together some people who said, actually one of the big challenges with IoT is security and making it safe to connect. And so the NMI has put together a foundation which is addressing that issue, creating some working groups and coming up with best practices which will make it safer and easier for IoT-based companies to put systems together which will be safe to connect. In the top right-hand corner, there's one box there, Electronic Systems Design Networks. This is probably the bread and butter of the NMI, where it pulls together networks of people such as yourselves to learn about best practices from each other, from topics as broad as analog mixed signal design all the way to design for test, from digital functional verification to FPGA. And in fact, I represent one of those networks, the FPGA network. And in fact, next week, there's a steering group for the FPGA network called the FrontRunners Forum. In fact, there's one of the members here today, Andy from ARM, so thank you for being here. And one of the things we'll be discussing is what topics should we put onto the agenda for network meetings for the remainder of this year. If you've got any ideas, especially those amongst you who are most interested in FPGA-based design, please come and talk to me. I'm interested to hear of what would get your attention with network meetings for the rest of this year. And with that, I'll just close off. The NMI's got about 300 members. Many of you in this room are actually members. One or two of you might actually see your logo up there, but there's many more. We're involved in the whole value chain from public agencies and universities all the way up through OEMs and primes. So in those 5 minutes, I think it's almost time for coffee now. If I've said something which attracts your attention or you've got some questions, probably appropriate to grab me during the rest of the day. So I hope you enjoy the rest of the conference. Thank you very much.
Thank you.